hoping I can ask quickly about also the XPV variant that's rising from India and Singapore. What should Americans expect as that variant continues to rise? And just to take a step back, I know you were encouraging folks here to get their latest booster, but should Americans expect what we've been seeing in terms of more cases, not as many hospitalizations? Just a step back, what should Americans expect when it comes to COVID?
Well, what Americans should expect is from our experience that you never can definitively say what to expect, but you should really take some comfort in knowing that we'd have within our wherewithal to mitigate anything that comes our way. Because we have flu vaccines, we have COVID vaccines, we have testing, we have the option under certain circumstances with good judgment to wear masks where appropriate in indoor congregate settings. So we can do a lot to mitigate any surge. One thing we're encouraged with looking at other countries, such as Singapore, which had a big XPV, they had increase in cases, but they did not have a concomitant major increase in hospitalizations. So we're hoping that a combination of people who've been infected and boosted and vaccinated, or people who've been vaccinated and boosted and not infected, that there's enough community protection that we're not going to see a repeat of what we saw last year at this time.
Is the latest booster effective against XBB?
Yeah. The XBB is one that evades immune response as measured by antibody, which is one of the elements, not the only element of protection. Much more of cellular T-cell responses protect you against severe disease. The protection is diminished multifold with XBB. If you look at the best, and then it goes down a bit with one, it goes down with BQ 1.1, it goes down even more with XBB. It doesn't fall off the map, but it goes down. So you could expect some protection, but not the optimal protection.
Go to April, and then Alex in the back.
Dr. Fauci and Dr. Josh. Dr. Fauci first, and Dr. Josh first on the issue of COVID and mask wearing. We're not talking about mask wearing in this moment. Masks and the word masks have become a pejorative in some parts of this nation. Can you talk about the importance of mask wearing as you're worried about the holidays and people gathering together? And then on the gatherings for Thanksgiving and Christmas, what do you recommend for families who may have some who boosted and may have some who are not boosted, may have some who have not had a vaccine at all?
Well, I think your first and second question are related, because what it really tells you is that we have multiple interventions and multiple actions we can take to protect ourselves. So there's a whole spectrum. Masking is one of them. Now, we're not talking about requirements or mandating. We're talking about if you're in a situation and each individual person evaluates their own risk and that of the risk of their family members, for example, like a person who's 25-year-old living alone versus someone who has an elderly parent or grandparent or someone who's immune compromised. First of all, everybody should be vaccinated and boosted with flu and with COVID. Whether or not you wear a mask, or another thing we shouldn't underestimate is testing. So when we're gathering at a family gathering for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or for any other holiday as we get into the winter, it makes sense that you might want to get a test that day before you come into a place in which you might be infected and spread it, or other people who might be there, in order to protect. So masking is important, but you can count masking, vaccine, boosting, testing. All of that is part of the spectrum of protecting yourself and your family.
But what do you say about the word mask now being a pejorative in some communities?
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I know sometimes when you walk in and you have a mask and nobody has a mask, you kind of feel guilty. You shouldn't feel guilty. You look terrific. Right?
I have no problem in you wearing a mask. Thank you.
All right, we got to move on.